had a family emergency. Chris is filling in for us. Say hello, Chris.
I'm Chris.
I'm Chris. There we go. And for those of you who follow the channel and watch the match preview show, this is a Chicago game, so you guys know Guillermo will be with us. Say hello, Guillermo.
Hey, everybody.
Anyways, we saw Chicago 2 weeks ago. They have had two losses since they drew in that Lightning game. We, had a big win last week. Chicago's given up a pile of goals, about 7 in the last 2 matches, and they have been winless. However, Chicago always, really, unless they beat themselves, finds a way to get a point or 3 against us. This is our 4th meeting. As most of you know, Chicago's 10th in the table in the East. They have 27 points. That puts them about 5 points behind us, and very rare to see a team 4 times. So in my opinion, David, I have a preview. You could watch the other previews. Talks about their players and who their designated players are and stuff. Guillermo's gone in depth about that. So we're going to be quick tonight and just go through the keys of the match and predictions and sum it up quick. So I think Chicago has some injuries. I think McGee's coming back. Guillermo, can you tell us about Chicago's injuries since we've seen you 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, McGee has played. He's available. The injury situation is up front. Kennedy Iguananike and Sam, it's your 4th chance. You're going to get it right at one point. But Kennedy Iguananike had a calf strain at the end, or actually 60 minutes into the last game. He has returned to training, but he hasn't participated in full training yet. He's questionable. Gilberto, the other designated player at forward, has been dealing with a hamstring injury. He's also questionable. So the Fire could be without their 2 first-choice strikers in this match. McGee replaced Iguananike in the 30 minutes left in that last game. So it's possible that you could see McGee get a little bit more playing time than he has over the last few games.
And who do you think is going to play, and who would your preference be?
I think you may see Ship underneath up top with. I would think that Iguananike may be available for that game. I think their options will be a little bit. The options are going to be a little bit limited if both those guys are unavailable. You may see Jason Johnson as well if that's another option up top.
All right, and do you guys have any other injuries that are noteworthy?
Noteworthy, no. Ailton is probably out for the rest of the season with surgery for a groin issue, but other than that, they're relatively healthy.
And I know you got to go, so I'm just going to value your time, and then Chris and I will have a little Orlando City talk, and we can answer any questions for you before you got to go. We don't have much going on, to be honest with you, but anyway, and so David Akama scored, I believe, twice in the last 3 games, and Larinovic has scored in both of the last 2 games. I know the game prior was a penalty kick. How are those 2 players going to impact the match versus Orlando City?
Well, David Akam is their main threat. He's going to continue to be their main threat. They do like to play it out of the back, long over the top, trying to get Akam behind defenses. That seems to be their best offensive option so far. Jeff Larinovic, most of his goals have come from from penalty kicks and dead ball situations this year. So he's got a lot of goals, but most of them have been from PKs. So he scored a lot out of the back, but he's not. Would you consider a threat coming out of the back? I think the back line has struggled a bit. Jeff Larinovic, I said after the game last week that he's sort of fighting a losing battle. He's probably their best defender, but that's not saying a whole lot. He's a converted midfielder. They played Ty Harden in the back with him in his first game as a starter last week, and he did not do well. Also, Daniel Cyrus made his Fire debut as a right back and looked a lot like a center back who was playing right back, a little bit out of position.
All right.
They're going to struggle in the back. They'll continue to struggle in the back as Yalop tries to find what that best combination is back there. That's they're going to continue for the last 6 games of the season to have defensive issues.
So that's what you would attest the 7 goals in 2 games to is the mix and match back line that I think last time we talked you had the same issues.
Yeah, mixing and matching the back line has I guess he's trying different combinations because no matter who he tries, they've leaked goals and they've given up a lot of chances. There were a couple of games where Sean Johnson, they just had a number of ridiculous saves that would have been even worse if not for the save. So it's a little bit having to do with the mixing and matching and not having a consistent back line, but I think it's more to do with just an overall lack of quality back there.
All right, and I know you're pressed for time, so do you have any questions for me or for Chris or for both of us in regards to the matchup, and then you can get out of here and Chris and I will talk Orlando City.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just wondering if what the injury situation is from the Orlando City side, what it's Kaká's status, and what do they look like coming into this game.
Okay, I looked today, and Surin, well, actually Tuesday in the radio show, Coach said that Darwin Surin is hopeful for the weekend, and he said, and I know Kaká has been training, and I don't know what kind of minutes he will be available, so I'm under the assumption he's been in full training sessions, and he should be able to play 90, and Surin, or I always say his name wrong too, so it's just not Igbaganike, who I always miss. So Surin, he is hopeful for the weekend. In my opinion, I don't think we'll see him. I think we probably need him to rest another week. Corey Ash is training and should be available, and Seb Hines trained and is available for the weekend. I don't think that matters. I think Mateos will start, but we'll talk Orlando City lineups in a second. And other than that, Laren looked pretty gassed. They're giving him some rest this week in practice. I think they said that no training for him until Thursday. So what?
He's already ruled out for Saturday?
No. He is not ruled out for Saturday. He just is not training until Thursday this week. So tomorrow he'll be his first day of training for Laren, but it's not an injury related. It's only for rest purposes.
Montreal is playing tonight. It's right about an hour, but
yeah, they play against San Jose away.
So it looks like Montreal isn't taking half their team to the West Coast with them. Drogba's not there, Piatti's not there, Simon's not going. Is there general feeling that Orlando City is still in the playoff race, or do you think it's over at this point?
I thought it was over in July, and I think Chris will absolutely disagree with me. So, Chris, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. I just feel like just right towards the end of the season, I feel like we have a couple of throwaway games that are just going to be an easy 3 points. We still have to play Philadelphia, even though we tied them last time, but it was a 0-0, probably the most boring game this season. I feel like that as our last game, we'll finish out strong. We still play we usually do good against the Eastern teams at home, so I feel like with Montreal, like the big game situations, Montreal and New York City, I feel like we'll both have good games. And our away games, we play you, obviously, in Chicago, and then the Red Bulls again next week on Friday, which I'm not too confident about the Red Bulls, but I'm looking, the rest of the games seem very winnable. As well as Montreal has a really hard schedule coming up. I want to say they have San Jose, and I think they play New England next.
Yeah, they've got a lot of games in a short amount of time, so that might be resting guys, but trying to make it.
I think them right at the end of that too, because I think they play 2 games both these next 2 weeks, and the week they play a midweek right before we play them too on the Saturday.
Mm-hmm. I think they've got 4 games in hand on Orlando City. Is that right?
Right, and we're tied on 4, and they've got us destroyed on goal difference.
Yeah, that's a lot of room to make up.
Right.
4 games in hand, but it doesn't seem like Montreal is really concerned about it because they're not taking guys to the West Coast with them.
I think the general feel amongst the fans and the supporters is that we're still in the race. I'm pessimistic. I think our result last week, although we put in our best game since our home win versus Columbus, I think it's kind of a blind squirrel finding an acorn kind of deal. So that's just my sentiments on it. I mean, obviously Chris disagrees, and my overall feeling is that a lot of the support for the team fan-wise disagrees, and I know the front office disagrees as well because they've been preaching playoffs since day one. So that's, the general support in town.
But for what it's worth, I think it's over. Montreal's going to make it.
I tend to agree with you. So, all right, Guillermo, if you have no further questions for us, we're going to talk Orlando City and if you want to stick around, I don't know if you want to stay for the whole time or not. Up to you.
Yeah, I've got another one coming up at 9 o'clock with Evan Whitfield, and we're going to talk Fire, Orlando City, and kind of review what the Fire have done over, or the mess the Fire have become over the last 6 months. So
Yeah, I mean, if you just want real quick, lineup wise, I'm gonna be under the assumption that Kaká is gonna start, so I'm gonna do typical back four for Orlando City. I think on the right we'll have Ramos. Our center back pairings will be Colin and Mateos, and on the left we'll have Bowden. I think we see a Breckshay start this week. I think he'll be back at left wing. He played about 30 minutes for us in the week on the weekend, and he had a very impressive assist. I was really happy to see it. I dogged Breckshay continuously at the beginning, but that was a nice assist that he had. I think Kaká will be in the middle. On the right, I think we see Winter after the 2-goal performance, and up top, I think we're going to see Laren for a half, trying to get him the rookie record, and I think in the second half, probably coming out of halftime or maybe at 60, we're going to see Roches. He came on and scored a great goal. So lineup-wise, that's what I would expect Chicago to see. Typical Orlando City in the 4-2-3-1. Chris, what do you think we'll see lineup-wise?
I definitely disagree on Laren starting. I feel like that's the worst I've ever seen him play. Was against in the last game. I'm completely drawing a blank on who we played. The 3-1, but I just feel like up until like the 60th minute, I felt like every time I looked at Heath, he was just yelling at Laren, just always just giving him some kind of, and he just seemed so uninterested in the game. Like it just seemed like he did not want to be there at all. And I just feel like Roches was scoring a goal, and he was working hard the whole time, even for the third goal. Like for Winter's goal, he ended up winning the ball back in the box. I just felt like he kind of showed the desire that Laren didn't show the entire time he was on the field.
All right, and what about, is there any other spots in the lineup that you disagree with me about?
I wouldn't be surprised to see Ash start over Bowden. It depends on how fit he really is. Because, I mean, Ash has been doing well on the left, and with Shea there as well, I feel like they could have good connection. And if Shea's going to start, then I would like to see him.
Okay, the reason that I disagree with you is because, Bowden is excelling at moving forward and crossing the ball, and I think with Shea, when he was at the left wing, he tends to drift in towards the middle. So if Shea is going to drift in towards the middle, then we'll need Bowden's service just to, make our offense go, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's just odd that we never play Ash at left back anymore to me, because the Columbus one, which was the win before the last, we had 2 assists both to Laren, and then after that he just got pushed to the left wing and never played left back again since.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know Coach personally. These are questions I would love to get answered in the press conference. Maybe we can get these questions to Ron. I know they're in there asking questions. I'm doing fan videos after the game, so I don't go in and really talk. So, but as far as Orlando City goes, that's what I think. I was really impressed with Mateos. I thought he put in his best game so far. I mean, for him, I was really impressed. I would still like a little more out of the other center half, but I thought he played well in the last match. I feel like everything clicked for us last game, so I'm hoping that we keep the momentum rolling. I don't like the counterattack that Chicago does. Cam and dropping it long, just like Guillermo said, that Cam always seems to score against us. So in Igbaganike's speed always kills us too. Getting closer. Guillermo. Next, hopefully, we can continue to work together in the future. I always love having you on, but I'll promise you by the end of next season, I'll say Igbaganike right. All right, we got a deal?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. All right, and Chris, what do I just made some, generalized statements about the team and what impressed me last week. What impressed you last week the most?
Yeah, I had told you I thought Lewis Neal had played a really good game. Like he obviously missed the 2 sitters, but like for the majority of the game he was dictating the midfield. So if Sarin isn't fit, I hope Sarasco doesn't play because I just thought he was terrible against Sporting Kansas City. I'd like to see Neal dropped into the pivot like he did against DC United. His only game he played there, he was just man of the match by far.
I think he played there in one of the Open Cup games too, and he put in a solid shift there. I honestly think that that's Neal's best spot personally. So I know Coach just puts him wherever he needs him. He's kind of, except for the back line, he's and as striker, obviously he's kind of a utility guy, but I prefer him in the defensive role. I don't think he offers really anything going forward, and I mean that's really I don't have anything else. Guillermo, Chris, you guys, any other statements you wanna make about the game, or we can just go
I
straight to.
hope Rivas. If we're struggling, I hope he brings on Rivas early. Like I think when like the rest of the teams tends to lack pace, and I just hope if he doesn't start, which I'm assuming he won't. I'm assuming Shea will start after getting the assist. I feel like Rivas just always has a good impact from the bench. So I feel like he'd be a good call to bring on. And that's my biggest criticism of Heath is he always waits too long to make his subs, and I hope he just shows his cards early because I just hate to lose another game off of no impact off the bench.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think it will happen, but I would love to see Shea on the left and Rivas on the right. I think that could be really, really interesting going forward. That would make the whole right side of our attack really pacey with Ramos moving up, and Rivas obviously is electric, so that would be just an alternative.
You
That
can't drop
we
Winter after he
could see at
drops.
some point. What? Go ahead.
I said you can't drop Winter after he scores a brace.
No, but Winter's come over. In my opinion, Winter's come over and really, I respect his work rate, but he hasn't been great. I don't think he's going to get dropped, but if he got dropped to have the Rivas Ramos pairing on the right, I wouldn't be opposed with it. Chris?
I just feel like you have to ride for him always, especially with how much we struggle to score goals. I think we didn't score like the last 4 or 5 games. If he's gonna score a brace, you got to put him in the 11.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think he deserves in the 11 after 2 goals. The header he put in was nice, and so is his other goal. So I don't really have anything else for you guys. We'll jump into predictions and let Guillermo get to his next appearance. This popular guy over here talking Chicago. So you guys make sure you thank Guillermo this week because this is the 3rd or 4th time you've been with us, Guillermo. Do you know? Third?
It's third, I think. Third.
Yeah, third.
It's at least 3.
At least 3. All right. Well, Chris, you're the newest one to the show, so you can give us your score prediction first.
I'll go 3-1 Orlando City.
3-1 Orlando City. All right.
If Kaká starts, he'll score a brace.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said if Kaká starts, he'll score a brace.
Oh, he'll score. Okay. And Guillermo?
The Fire are unpredictable, not only from game to game, but from half to half sometimes. Even in the middle of the halves, they just kind of disappear and lose form for no particular reason. So they're very hard to predict. I'll say a draw out of this game. Orlando City's had trouble scoring goals, but the Fire defense is usually the elixir for goal-scoring ills. I'll say 2-2.
2-2. All right. I think that we're going to go to Chicago and struggle again, just like both the other times we've gone to Chicago. The first game, Addy Elton was really, the only reason that we got any points out of that game. Chicago kind of mopped us up and down, and then we went in the U.S. Open Cup game and we fielded a pretty formidable team, and I know Chicago fielded a formidable team, and we didn't get out of there with a win that time either. And then, when Chicago comes to here, we draw. So nothing based on the prior 3 matches has led me to believe that we are going to get a win this week. I think scores, I think Igbaniki, I think he'll get one in. In exchange, I think Laren breaks the rookie goal record in the first half, and Chicago takes 3 points from us again at home, 2-1 Chicago.
You're way too pessimistic.
Yeah,
For an Orlando City fan, you're never rooting for us.
that is what it is. It's that's why I try to get opinions from all walks, But anyway,
So close to the playoffs, you just gotta be dreaming for a win right now.
like I said, playoffs died for me in July, so.
They shouldn't have because it's still so alive.
All right. Well, when come the last week of October, we can talk about this when I have the end of the year roundtable.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, Chris, thanks for the last minute fill in. That was really awesome of you. That was like right out of the bullpen. That was unbelievable. You want to say thanks to everybody and thank you for having on?
Yeah, thanks. That was a good fun. I've always wanted to do one of these things, so it's pretty fun to be on here.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And Guillermo, thank you for coming on. So you want to say bye? Oh, and everybody, Chris, what's your Twitter handle so people can follow you?
Oh God, it's Breckshay's poo.
There you go. I got that one in there. And Guillermo, you just want to give ChicagoFireNow.com and Fire Confidential and another shout?
Yeah, at FireComps at Twitter and at ChicagoNow.com/fire. That's about it. But good luck the rest of the season. Not a whole lot of time remaining, but yeah, I think you can take some solace in that. I think Orlando City's had a pretty successful year, even if they don't make the playoffs as an expansion team. I think there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to coming up next year if they can add to that squad.
I mean, I foresee massive squad changes, and I would say we pay down Roches and Rivas. They might stay here, but I think we'll pay them both down, and I think we'll at least bring in another big name. I know we tried really hard for Chicharito and for Ganso or Gasnao or whatever the other Brazilian guy's name is. I know we tried really hard for both of them, and I just don't think that our plan Bs were prepared substantially. But anyway, thanks guys for the watch. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you, Chris. Peace out.
Thanks, guys.